The more attached you are to the outcome, the worse your work gets. As far as content goes, trends are good, but it shouldn't be what your brand's built around. But not all comments, not all virality is good virality. And welcome back to the Creatively Connected Podcast. I'm your host, Chris Rippy, and I want to start today's episode by asking you a question. Out of the last 5 to 10 times you've put out content or posted something on social media, your work, out of those many times, how many of you went back and looked at the views and the analytics and based the success or failure off of how it performed on social media? I know myself, I'm guilty of it all the time when I post, especially back in the day when I was first starting out. That was like how I judged the success. That was, if it flopped, if it got under 1,000 views, it was a fail to me. If it got over it, it had some life to it. It was somewhat of a success. It wasn't a complete waste of my time. And I know many of us are like that, and it's a toxic trait of people that put content out online. The more attached you are to the outcome, the worse your work gets. When I first would see some traction on videos, I would base it around that. If one video did better, I tried to make all of them like that, and it wasn't necessarily the direction my brand needed to go or things that were benefiting me and my brand. It was just getting me views, and not all views are good views. You can go viral for the wrong reasons, and I've fell victim to that a couple of times, and it's I was so attached to the outcome of getting views and gaining traction, but it wasn't necessarily helping me. It was actually kind of hurting me. So if you have done that, you're not a bad person, but hopefully this episode will clear things up a little bit for you and get you thinking a little bit differently on how you judge the success of yourself and of your brand and business, whatever you're building. But detachment brings you the outcome way faster, and detaching from the outcome as a creator will help you achieve your goals and what you're after a lot quicker. And detachment doesn't mean that you don't care. It doesn't mean that you're gonna, just turn your back and hope and pray that things work out, and it is what it is. If it's meant for me, it'll happen. If not, then it won't. It's partially true, but it doesn't mean that you don't care and that you're just gonna let things unfold how they're supposed to, right? It means that you're not tying your identity to the result, whether that results views on social media from your content, whether it's income that you're bringing in, whether it's the amount of clients that you've worked with or the things that you've built. When you don't attach your identity to the outcome, you become a lot more open and allow more room for opportunities to present themselves and to find their way to you. There's so many people that I know, and I'm guilty of it myself sometimes. Like, I got to have this, I got to get this by this date, or I'm falling behind because this person on social media is reaching, hundreds of thousands of people, and I'm not, or they're posting screenshots of their revenue for this month, and it's way more than mine. And it's like their identity is wrapped up around that. Like they're not a person, they're not a brand without that metric. And social media makes everything measurable. It puts money pressure on you, a validation pressure. We feel more validated as we get more views, as we get more people that are engaging with our stuff. It's like, oh, we're more successful at this now because people actually care. And the worst trap is a timeline comparison. You see someone on social media that is out living the life that you want to live, and they're younger than you or the same age, and you compare timelines, you think you're falling behind, or maybe they've been doing it for 8 years and you're on your 8th month, and that's why they're getting the gigs. It's not because you suck. It's because they've been putting in the work. And social media traps us in a timeline validation. It makes us feel like we're, falling behind and we're not where we're supposed to be yet. So You have to detach from that. You have to detach from when it's going to happen, how it's going to happen, if it's going to happen. And again, that doesn't mean that you don't care. If you're putting in the work and the effort, then you can detach from it and know that you're doing everything that you can to achieve your goal. But your whole life isn't just, consumed with, I got to have this and I got to have this now. Attachment, what it does to your creativity is it oftentimes leads you to rushing your work, trying to get something out as fast as possible to get to that end goal as quick as possible, and that makes you second guess your own voice. If you're putting out slop, and I hate the term AI slop, AI, so that makes me think of the AI slop. Can't stand those people, but it makes you second guess your voice and what you're building, and it makes you copy what's trending. And I'm guilty of it too. Some of you may be listening, like, I've seen you do trends and stuff, Rippy. I do, because sometimes it's what performs, and we want to get those views. Like, I'm talking to you guys from my own experience, not sitting here saying I'm perfect. I don't do this stuff. I'm telling you what I've done and still sometimes currently do, so you don't have to do it. Trends are good, as far as content goes. Trends are good, but it shouldn't be what your brand's built around. If you just do trends all the time of stuff that's already performed, you're not building anything authentic to you and your brand. And it's just going to, if it hasn't already, it's just going to eventually end up in the cloud of trending content, and it'll get, pushed further and further down in feeds. And there's going to be no relatability that people can find in you from that type of content. So you're really not building a brand on it. You're just really building a lot of eyes on you for, a short to mid time frame. There's no longevity in that. There's no real way you can convert that into business. I'm not saying that you don't need to do trends and get more eyes on you from that, but that's just supposed to bring them in a door of your home. And then when they walk through that door, it's like, oh, this person runs a podcast, or they have this business. Oh, they run a marketing agency, or they're a videographer. Content in today's time it's different than it was 5 years ago. You need to think of content as kind of like a house, and you can bring people in through multiple doors, but what are they coming into? What kind of family, what kind of home are they coming into? If you walk through the front door, is it just an empty home, or is it just a bunch of randomness? And start thinking of content as your home, and what are people getting when they come into your home? Attachment to the end goal also creates anxiety, and anxiety kills your creativity. You get anxious on what it is you're doing. I found myself lately in a weird cycle of being very anxious on, like, what am I really building with all of this? Like, what is the end goal? And I think I'm feeling that because I'm getting so caught up on thinking about, okay, what's the longevity? What's the end goal with this? And what is all of these many different creative projects that I'm working on right now? What is it leading to? And I had to remind myself of exactly what I'm telling you guys right now. I had to detach from the 15 years from now. It doesn't mean I can't think about it and know what I'm building up to, but I don't have to have it all figured out. I don't have to have it, fully mapped out and developed and a clear painted picture of that. You got to start. You got to do each step, take it step by step, brick by brick, until you've built the whole entire house. You don't look at the house and see all of the details before you build it. You do that after it's built. And when you attach so much to that end, it creates a level of anxiety that's just it's not needed, and it's not healthy. It's not needed, and it's not healthy. What detachment actually means, it's not laziness. It doesn't mean you have low standards, and it doesn't mean that you don't care. Detachment means you're more so focused on the process, and you're more focused on showing up regardless of the outcome. You're going to do the work. You're going to do, your inputs every single day, hoping that the outcome works out, but you're it doesn't make or break you if it doesn't, right? Um, and you have to trust compound effort whenever you do this. Like, you can't just fully detach and not have any trust in the compound effect. If you're doing work daily and you're grinding, hustling, and you have some sort of idea of where you're headed, that compounding effort over time, if you never quit, it's going to add up and it's going to bring you the results. It's going to bring you the success that you're after. Uh, and then your results can be your feedback, and it won't be your whole identity. It won't be everything that you're made up of. The results will let you know. That will be your indicator that, hey, this stuff is working. It doesn't have to be, metrics on social media or income. It can be the results of, okay, this actually is working now. Um, and it's not my entire identity. So how can you practice detachment as a creator? Create on a schedule, not on an emotion. I have a bad tendency to see creators online post a video, and I'll immediately like, okay, I got to recreate this and with my own little twist on it. And that's what creating on emotion would be, not creating on a schedule. Set out what it is you need to post for the day, for the week, whatever works best for you, and form a process around it, and base it all around goals instead of metric goals. And what I mean by metric goals is seeing this creator on social media get 1,000,000 views on this video, so you think, okay, well, I got to recreate it. If they got 1,000,000, I can at least get 500,000. But is that helping you get towards your goal? Like, our goal shouldn't be just views on content. There's got to be something on the back end of that. Views are just views until they can turn into customers. Set the process up and create them. Create that process, form that process around your goals and not just the metrics that you want to see with it. And an example of that would be, post 3 times a day versus I want to hit 10,000 views, or I need 100,000 views in the last 30 days on my Instagram analytics. Like, okay, well, if you want that, then what do you have to do to get that? You're detaching from the I need the 100,000. Okay, I don't need that. It's not going to help me live. But what can I do to get to that? Okay, well, if I post 3 times a day, I'm increasing my chances drastically to hit that number, right? Form the systems that'll help you get there. Don't form the system around what it is you want. So I hope that makes sense. You have to separate your identity from the output. Don't track your validation. Don't track views. Don't track, all of that. Track your effort. Track what you're putting into your craft every single day. When I first started going viral, that wasn't until I had some videos like do decent numbers and stuff, but it didn't really take off. I think my first viral one was like 2023, 2024, 2023, 2024. And it was me getting into it with a security guard while I was filming a concert. And when I say getting into it, he was trying to kick me out. And I was like, I have a credential. And I kind of proved my point. And then I was like, yeah, so I'll stay here as long as I want, blah, blah, blah. Well, it went crazy viral. People were siding with me in the comments. And then people were also like, you're so wrong for this. I would never let you at my venue, blah, 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 blah. And like, that's kind of, you see that when you go viral. But I could have ran with that. I could have recreated that video and spun it and done that so many times. But after about 2 months of it really performing, on social, I was kind of tired of getting like, and I say hate comments, like, just calling me names or telling me I'm not a professional or, this and that, whatever. I was like, what is this doing for my brand? Like, sure, these people specifically aren't hiring me, but if I keep going down this road on this track, like, word's going to get around like, hey, watch out for this Rippy dude. He's looking to start stuff, when that was completely the furthest thing from the truth. And, I had to take a step back and try to get away from that type of content. It wasn't helping my brand, but it was getting me views. And that was one of my first, like, viral set of videos, and it was getting me views, and I was like kind of addicted to it because it was performing. I would refresh my page every single day, and there would be, hundreds of new comments, and it was good. That's what we all like on social media when we put content out. But not all comments, not all virality is good virality. And the outcome that I was so attached to was getting those views, was getting those metrics up. I refreshed the dashboard, and I had like 200,000 views that month on my page, and that was crazy to me. And I got so attached to that outcome that I was doing it for months and months, but it wasn't helping my brand any. I was just getting a lot of eyeballs on me. Well, a lot of eyeballs on you doing the wrong thing is not beneficial to your brand. That's when I took a step back and realized, like, social media is not just some imaginary thing that's out there. Like, there's real people, real humans, and real opportunities and real connections to be made. But the wrong kind of virality can hurt your brand just as much as it can help it. And it's all a learning curve. That didn't make or break me. People bad mouthing, like, that's gonna happen when you go viral. But know what you're building. Know what you're. If you weren't to say it, if you were in a meeting, say you're hosting like a TED Talk to 1,000 people, if you wouldn't say it live to a group of audience face to face, then I wouldn't say it on social media, because it can come back to bite you, and it's really just the same thing. So, guys, I hope you found some value in this episode. I kind of went on a tangent there for a little bit, but I just wanted to hop on here and do this episode on detachment, learning the art of detachment. Pretty sure there's a book about that. Someone recommended it to me, and I did like the actually, I used ChatGPT and told it to summarize it for me and really explain it. And I think it was The Art of Detachment. I'm pretty sure that's the name of it. Don't quote me on it, but if it is, go check it out. When you can detach from all of the outcomes, it's not just with your content. Obviously, this is a content creator based podcast, but so I've kind of played it into that. But this is with anything in life. Like I mentioned earlier, your relationships, your vehicle that you drive, your income, what foods you're going to eat, everything. When you can detach from everything, it doesn't mean that you don't care. It doesn't mean that you're lazy. It doesn't mean that you're not on a path, not on a mission. It just removes the friction, and it removes the identity that you put on the results. And when you can do that, I think you'll be a lot happier as a creative, as a person, and you'll probably reach those goals or get the things that you want, whether it's the partner, the money, the content views. You'll probably get it a lot faster when you don't care about the end result. At least I have a lot of close friends that I've talked to that kind of try to practice this too. It's like, man, once I stopped caring, everything kind of came to me. And it's not that you don't care. It's just when you stop fixating so much on that end result. So I hope you found some value in this. If you're a creator right now and you're, like, this really hits home for me. I've been stressed out about, getting to my goal, or, I've been comparing myself to other people, or maybe even to you, Rippy. Like, just take it slow. Don't be so hard on yourself. Your job is to show up. The outcome is the lagging indicator, and if you can detach from the result and stay consistent, you will win long term. You might not reach your goal tomorrow or in 6 months or a year from now, but you will win long term. And I think that's the most important thing, is longevity in this. But guys, this is why Creatively Connected exists, is to help creators build real careers that aren't dependent on emotional swings. And Hope that you found value in it. If you're a content creator, videographer, photographer, and you want to be plugged into a supportive group of like-minded individuals on a similar path, I run a group. It's called Freelance to Freedom. Over 360 of us in there right now, networking, leveling up together, landing paid opportunities, and just being around like-minded individuals that understand you and understand the path that you're on. I don't know why I sounded like I was from freaking Texas right there. Understanding the path that you're on, then you can it's good to be around those people. And I, for my first 5 years ish, 4 to 5 years in it, I didn't have really too many friends that were doing the same thing that I was doing. You know, social friends, I knew of people, but I didn't have a direct access, a network, a group chat like this to go and ask questions, to hop on weekly calls with, and to be plugged into a ton of resources inside. So if you want to join that, I got it linked in the description. But that's all I got for today's episode. Detach from the result. You'll see the result a lot sooner. I hope you guys are doing awesome this week, being great, keep creating, and make sure to follow us on social. We have a lot of episodes that have already come out, so you can go back and watch them. We have a catalog of them. We're dropping new episodes every single week. I hope you have a great rest of your day, night, wherever you're at, and I'll see you guys in the next episode. Peace out.